So this shoe right here was definitely one of my standout running shoes of last year, and it actually made it onto our top 3 road running shoes and our end of year gear of the year list. It performed that well. I think the updated version has probably been one of the most anticipated shoes of the year for me. We've managed to get hold of them now. I've tried them on indoors. It feels great, fits my foot like a glove. And all that's left is that we get outside, hit the streets and give them a thorough testing. And that's exactly what we're gonna do today. Welcome back everyone, I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. So today is the day when we finally get to take the new Fuelcell Rebel V3s out for their first run. Always exciting here at the channel when you've been really looking forward to the release of a new shoe and waiting for it to come out and you finally get it in your hands, but also slightly worrying because I really did enjoy running in that previous version, and it was like the shoe had kind of been designed and made for my foot shape. Perfect fit and lockdown from the upper, so lightweight to run in, really versatile, and one of those shoes that kind of gave me that no shoe feel when I was running, and I always love it when I find that in a running shoe. So just a fantastic shoe for me and so many others out there. So I really have got everything crossed today that New Balance haven't made too many changes in the new version and spoil a really good neutral daily trainer. So before we get running in the shoe, I'm just going to give you a few facts and figures and break down the construction in a bit more detail. So firstly, like so many things out there in the world today, there has been a price increase of £10. So the new version now retails in the UK for £130. Not only has there been a bit of a price increase, but there's also been a bit of a weight increase, which is definitely unfortunate in my eyes, but the new version now weighs in at 227 grams in a UK 10 compared to the 218 grams of the previous version. So it's only a very small weight increase, and to be fair, 227 grams for a daily trainer is still very light when you sort of compare it to all the other shoes out there that will do a similar job. As far as offset goes, we've got a 6mm drop on these, and I think that's a really good heel height for a daily trainer. Not too high, not too low, and it was another feature that I really enjoyed on the previous version. So I'm glad to see that New Balance have stuck with it. When it comes to the upper construction, as you can imagine in a shoe that only weighs 227 grams, it is pretty stripped back. So New Balance have used this extremely lightweight engineered knit upper with no stitched overlays, so keeping that weight down to a bare minimum. We've got some nice perforations across the toe box, around that midfoot and working into the tongue, just to increase airflow, keeping your feet nice and cool, even in hot conditions and when you're pushing the pace. Speaking of the tongue, it is gusseted into that upper to give you that sort of nice sleek fit and secure lockdown around your midfoot. There's some printed overlays on the heel, around the midfoot and the lace eyelets, and then finishing up wrapping around that toe box, just to give that lightweight upper a bit more substance, but also to help when it comes to durability. And this time around, New Balance have gone for a bit of a sort of flared heel design in the back end of the shoe, and we've got a moderate level of padding around that ankle collar and in the heel cup. Moving down to what had to be for me the standout feature in the Rebel V2s, and that is the super lightweight, highly cushioned, very responsive, high energy returning fuel cell compound in that midsole. I'm glad to see that I don't think there's been many changes when it comes to that midsole design. Putting them on indoors to test the size out, that midsole still felt very comfortable, super light and very bouncy underfoot. I would say the biggest changes made are sort of the shape to that platform. So if I grab the V2s, you could probably pick that up on camera. We got a slightly wider midfoot on that V2, and the outside edge of that midsole was slightly rolled up. So we got a bit more of a sort of traditional midsole shape on the new version. Hopefully it doesn't affect the performance of the feel of the shoe, because I was actually quite a big fan of the shape of the midsole on the V2s. And finishing off that construction, it is the outsole, and you can see we've got a very similar design to the previous version. So So we've got a really good helping of blown rubber in those high wear areas on the forefoot and on the heel. Still a fair bit of exposed midsole compound at the midfoot, but I personally think it's a pretty good helping of rubber on a shoe that is so lightweight. So I think that grip, traction and durability should be pretty good. So there you have it folks, the new exciting Fuelcell Rebel V3 from New Balance. Now the weather hasn't been great in the UK over the last few days, so really hoping that the weather gods are going to shine down us on today's run and give us some decent weather and it's not going to rain the whole way round. I've also got my fingers crossed extremely tight that these are going to run just as comfortable, just as light, just as responsive, and they're going to be as much fun to run in as the previous version. So without further ado, let's get them on our feet and let's get running. Okay, so we're out on the run, we've got some good news and some bad news. Bad news first, I think we're going to get wet. It's going to pour down in a minute and it'll be a good test for this new Outsole Ultra jacket that we're testing out for an upcoming review, but not so good for the run. But the good news is that the shoes are feeling great. Still super comfy, fit my foot like a glove, but most importantly, they are exciting to run in. So very happy with that. But we're a couple of miles in. We're going to try and get sort of a 10k at least in the new shoe. We'll see how filming goes. We might not get a lot filmed in this weather, but you know, that's just British winter running conditions. But let's crack on. Let's get this run done. So we just reached the top of King George's Walk and the weather is coming from the direction in front of me. What do you reckon? Do you think we're gonna get some rain? Do you think I'm gonna get wet? Get in the comments below, let me know. Okay, you join me sheltering under this beautiful bridge because it is absolutely hammering it down with rain out there. So if you got in the comments and said it's gonna rain, you were right. So yeah, seeking shelter, but we are what, 3.5 miles into the run. I actually took the Rebel V2s out for a spin the other day just to remind myself how they fit in my foot shape and how they felt out on a run. And I gotta say, the new shoe feels very similar. The upper fits my foot very similar, super snug around that midfoot. Feels like I'm wearing a pair of slippers. It actually feels like I've got nothing on my feet at all. Again, midsole, super light, really well balanced, very responsive. So like I said, all those great features that I really enjoyed in the V2s seem to have crossed over to the V3s as well. So we're gonna head out and brave the elements. I'm not sure how much filming I'm gonna be able to do until we get back to the studio because I run the GoPro with a media mod setup, which is brilliant. It's way better when it comes to audio quality. Unfortunately, the GoPro isn't waterproof then, so I have to be really careful when it's raining heavily. So like I say, we're gonna get another sort of 3.5 miles in and hopefully we'll talk to the camera again outside, but if not, we'll see you guys back at home. We have reached our turning point and you can probably see the weather gods didn't shine down on us today, and just behind the camera is another black massive cloud, so we're going to get another downpour. Luckily the running shoe gods did shine down on us and the Rebel V3s are feeling really good out on this first run. But no more filming, we're going to head back to the studio now and we're going to break down the performance of this shoe in a bit more detail and hopefully we make it back before the rain. See you there. Well, I suppose they are the trials and tribulations of trying to make a YouTube video in the UK during winter. I definitely don't mind getting out there and running in bad weather, but when it comes to filming, it can be a bit of a nightmare, and heavy rain and strong winds are definitely not a YouTuber's best friend. Then you've got to throw in, you know, the clocks going back, the darker evenings, the shorter days. It can be very, very challenging, but we managed to get it done today and we had a great run in the process. But let's talk all about the Fuelcell Rebel V3s and how they performed out there today on their maiden voyage. The first thing I'd definitely say is a lot of the features of the shoe definitely feel very similar to the previous version, and that's obviously a really positive thing. But I'd also say there is certain aspects of the shoe that do feel slightly different, and I'm not sure those differences have improved the overall feel of the shoe. To me, that upper design and fit is pretty much identical to the V2s, which again is a positive thing. I love the feel of that upper. And you know, if someone blindfolded me and put the shoes on my feet randomly, I probably couldn't tell them apart when it comes to the fit and the feel of the upper. It still has that super light and airy feel to it. Good hold around my midfoot, good lockdown in the heel. I would say they do still size up a little bit short, very similar to the V2s. I went up half a size to a UK 10 and the length is just right on my foot shape, so I would definitely still recommend going up a bit when it comes to sizing. But I personally think the upper on the V2s and the Rebel V3s is a really clever design, you know, because to keep that weight down low, it is pretty stripped back when it comes to padding, materials used and overlays, things like that. But New Balance have still managed to produce an upper that feels very plush and very comfortable to run in. That new outsole design got a thorough testing out there today, that's for sure. So lots of wet pavement, lots of wet roads to run on, and there were certain areas where there was a lot of sort of wet, slippery leaves on the ground, and I had no traction issues whatsoever. I just felt very well connected and very confident when it came to my footing. The overall weight and balance of the V3s is still very natural to run in, and I could just about tell that I had a pair of running shoes on my feet. Extremely lightweight for a trainer that has been designed to soak up all that sort of daily, weekly mileage. Although saying that, I would say it's a daily trainer for a runner that runs off a very stable neutral gait, because this Fuelcell midsole is still not the most stable of midsoles in the world, and also for a runner that likes to do that weekly mileage in a lightweight and responsive shoe. So, you know, if you're a type of runner that wants a bit more substance in their daily sort of workhorse trainers, then maybe this isn't the shoe for you. And last but not least, let's talk all about that Fuelcell midsole, and I'm very happy to say still felt very comfortable, very balanced to run on. You know, it's one of those shoes that you lace up, you get running, and instantly you want to get in a good running form and up the pace, just because it feels so light and so responsive. But, and it's not a massive but, I think maybe it didn't feel like it was as snappy as the midsole and the V2s, maybe not returning me as much energy, not as bouncy. Don't get me wrong, still really enjoyed how it felt, but looking back, maybe the first run in the V2s, that midsole just felt slightly better. Obviously, it was the first run in the shoe, and sometimes things just need to bed in a bit, soften up a bit, and then they spring to life. But like I just mentioned, I'm pretty sure when I took these straight out of the box, that first run, that midsole just felt a little bit snappier, a little bit bouncier, and I can kind of remember that first run, that Fuelcell compound kind of blowing my mind, and I didn't really get that feel on today's run. So there you have it, our first impressions on New Balance's update to their very popular lightweight daily trainer, the Fuelcell Rebel V3s. I'm definitely going to continue running in the shoe, get some good mileage in them, and then we'll be back with our full in-depth review. It would also be awesome to hear from you guys, so if you're in a similar position to me and you really enjoyed running in the V2s and you've been all excited about the new updated shoe, you finally got hold of a pair, you put them on, you've taken them out for a run, did that shoe still excite you? Did you still feel that it performed in a similar way to the previous version? Let us know all about it in the comments below. By the time this video goes up, I should have run Freedom Racing's Penrose 10K down here in Cornwall. Now, it is a race that we've gone along to and run and filmed before, but for the first time in a long time, I actually feel that my body's in a position where I can go there and push the pace, give it some beans and race properly. And I think ever since we've kind of had the channel, I haven't been in the position to race properly. You know, yes, we've gone to lots of races and we filmed them and it's been a great experience, but I haven't felt like you guys have actually seen me race properly. So fingers crossed, I stay fit and healthy till then, and everything goes well on the day. And that race day video should be on the channel very soon. We've got lots of testing planned over the next couple of weeks, so just managed to get hold of the new Coros Apex Pro 2. I've been wearing an Apex Pro for well over a year now and really happy with the performance of the watch, so excited to test the new version out. They were also kind enough to send us one of the Apex 2s as well. So the new version of the Apex, the slightly more affordable watch option in the Apex family. So we're going to be testing both of those out thoroughly over the next 2 or 3 weeks, and then there'll be a full in-depth review. But if you have enjoyed the video, guys, you know what to do. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Only takes a few seconds to do, and it is completely free, but it really does help the channel out in a big way. You can also follow us on our other social media platforms, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, or Strava. But for now, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. It's always appreciated. And as always, stay safe and keep on running. Good hold around the midfoot, good lockdown in the heel, and oh dear, I can't. Hello? Yeah, hi New Balance. Sorry, I'm just struggling my words. Can you just remind me of that line? So it's good midfoot hold, good lockdown in the heel, and definitely sizes up short. Yeah, okay, yeah, thanks very much. Cheers, bye.